The Mavericks have been extremely impressive to get this season started. They're off to a red hot start. They are competing with the defending champion Denver Nuggets for the top spot in the Western Conference. Obviously, you can't have a conversation about the Mavericks without talking about Luka Doncic. He is having another insane year. He's sitting at the number 2 spot currently on the Kia MVP ladder, right behind Nikola Jokic. Most impressive thing about him this season is this is the most efficient we've ever seen him shoot it from the three-point line. Over the course of his career, he's kind of been hovering around that 33% to 35% range. This year, he's shooting it 42% from outside of the arc. And it's finally good to see that his percentage is actually reflecting how elite of a shooter that he is. So great to see that from Luka. As a team offensively. They are just great. This is some of the best offensive basketball they played since Luka's gotten here and since Jason Kidd has been their head coach. They're second in offensive rating, third in assist to turnover ratio. So they're doing an amazing job at keeping control of the basketball, fourth in pace, third in true shooting percentage, and second in three-point efficiency. So I mentioned how well Luka's shooting it from the three-point line. As a team, they're doing a great job at knocking down their shots from the perimeter. What I'm loving the most, though, is how much consistent offensive production they're getting from their role players. Last couple of years, I really feel like they haven't gotten super consistent, reliable offense from their non-star guys. It was an issue last year. This year was kind of a question, but those role players have been playing just great this season so far. Tim Hardaway Jr. is averaging almost 19 points a game on really efficient shooting from the floor. Some of the most efficient basketball he's played since being here in Dallas. Derrick Jones Jr. has been great from the three-point line. Derek Lively, their rookie, is 9 points a game and 7 boards a game in that starting lineup. Grant Williams, their biggest offseason pickup, is averaging 11 points, and his shooting splits are probably some of the best on this team right now. They're getting great production from Jaden Hardy, who's made a big leap from last year, his rookie season, into this year. Getting solid production off the bench from Dwight Powell, who's kind of adjusting to a new, almost six-man sort of role after being their starting center the last couple of years. And obviously, Kyrie is playing great in the games he has been there, averaging 22. And once again, as we always expect with Kyrie, his shooting splits are great. So while they're playing very, very great basketball on the offensive end, their defense needs a lot of work. This team needs to make a title run after making a Western Conference Finals run in 2022 and not being able to follow it up last season. This has got to be the year they put it all together and make this super, super deep playoff run, especially with how talented they truly are. And they can only do that if they figure things out from a defensive perspective. This season so far, they're sitting at the bottom half of the league in defensive rating. That was a big issue for them last season, which is really weird because 2022, when they made that Western Conference Finals run, they were one of the best defensive teams in all of basketball. Then they come into the next year and they struggled defensively even before the Kyrie trade. And after, they got worse. And this season, they make a bunch of big-time offseason additions to bring in guys like Grant Williams and like Derrick Jones, and they're still struggling defensively. Their biggest issues have come when it comes to defending the paint. They're not doing a great job at protecting the rim. Jason Kidd even said it a few nights ago that they have been soft when it comes to defending the paint. So this team has got to figure out things from a defensive perspective. They have the personnel to do it. That's why it's really kind of confusing to me at this point as to why they're still struggling on that end. But if they actually want to make a title run out of the season, they've got to figure out things defensively. You're not winning with just great offense. If you look at the trends over the last 10 years, most teams that have won titles within that span have been great two-way squads. The only team that really wasn't, the Denver Nuggets last year. And Denver was able to kind of get away with it in that final series against Miami because Miami relatively had one of the worst offenses in the NBA last season. But the trend shows, not even over the last 10 years, but over the last 20, that you got to be able to play defense at a high level if you want to win a championship. The only other team I can think of that didn't play great defense and was able to win multiple titles, I'd say like the Lakers during that Kobe and Shaq era, 2001, they were not great at all from a defensive perspective. But the trend shows that elite two-way play brings championships. I'm not saying you have to be a top 5 defensive team, but if you're hovering around that top 10, maybe around 11 or 12, that should be good enough to actually make you a championship winning team. So Dallas has to figure things out on that end. Do they need to make a midseason move to try to help with their paint defense? I don't know. Maybe. We've seen Clint Capella included in a lot of Dallas Mavericks trade conversations. But all in all, they have to figure out things from a defensive perspective. Their offense is doing a great job at taking care of itself. I would like to see them get their assist up. There's still a level of kind of ISO heavy ball that we're seeing from them so far. And Also, you're kind of wondering if they can keep up this efficiency for the entirety of the season. But all in all, they're playing great basketball. I love to see them keep it up. But their biggest focus has got to be team defense moving forward into the season if they want to actually make a title run this year.